has anybody heard of like the new earth frequency? New earth frequency. Has anybody heard of what the new earth frequency is, what it's about? And if so, let me know in the chat what you heard about it or what you believe it to be. Oh, thank you. You too, babe. Has anybody, let me know. You can give me a yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. Have you heard of the new earth frequency, the shifting consciousness, etc., etc.? Mr. Wright said no. Okay. Mr. Wright is not the only one in here. For those of y'all who don't know, let me introduce myself really quick. Okay. My name is Miss J. I also go by Divinity. Okay. I'm a spiritual guide and teacher. I'm also a metaphysical counselor. I have a bachelor's and master's in metaphysical sciences. I'm also a minister. And so I take a physical, metaphysical approach to life. I teach. I basically help you to uncover your conditioning, your false identities, your wounds, and help you return back to your wholeness so you can be the highest expression of who God designed you to be. Right. So, when I do these lives, they are interactive. Right? I want to make sure that y'all are talking to me. I'm here to build a community. I'm here to make impact. That's the first thing. So if y'all ever have questions, I will have space for Q&A at the end of this. Okay. I know. And that being said, my intention with going live and teaching all these things that I teach y'all and having these conversations is to build a community, create impact, and ultimately spark a desire for change within you so that you can start to change self, right? Because we can only change the world when we start to change ourselves. That's how we change the world. We don't change the world by telling other people that they're wrong for being who they're being. We don't change the world by putting our attention on everyone else. We change the world by putting our attention on ourselves, right? And taking a look within ourselves, figuring out, okay, it's who I am, who I was designed and created to be by the highest expression of what God is, or am I being who I was taught I had to be to survive, to be safe, to be protected, right? Spirit let me know a few years ago that this time was coming, right? And so because this time is coming, there are going to be a lot more spiritual leaders that will be kind of rising up because people need that. They need that guidance. They need that leadership. Okay. And so I am simply just a vessel. That's all I want, is to be used to help serve something bigger than myself, right? And I desire to, and I know that it's possible because I know what Spirit showed me. I know what God showed me. I know the visions that I've been having, that we deserve to live in a world where we get to all thrive. That's what we're here for. We are not here to struggle. We are not here to suffer, right? We are here to be the highest creations of who God designed us to be. And we are here to create a space and to live in a world that is full of love. Now, the world is already full of love, right? But the news will show you, social media will show you that it's full of fear and all the things, right? And you have to be able to choose what you want to consciously put your attention on, because whatever you put your attention on is what you create. Whatever you put your attention on is what you focus. Whatever you focus on grows, good or bad, right? Good or bad. Good or bad is a human construct. But that being said, if y'all could do me a favor, like the live, share the live to get this message out to as many people as possible, because like I told y'all yesterday and how I always tell y'all, we deserve to live in a world where we are safe, right? Where we can thrive, and we also deserve to create that world for our children, for those who come after us, right? So y'all just do me that favor, like the live, share the lives to get this message out to as many people as possible. Okay. Now, y'all said, I saw a few comments that said that they're not familiar with the new earth frequency, correct? So the new earth frequency is a shift in consciousness. You may have heard it. Some people say God is coming back, or Jesus is coming back, and all that other stuff. And this is another thing. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I do not care what you believe. You're entitled to believe what you believe, because from one God to another, I'm not here to judge you for what you believe, try to control what you believe, or change what you believe, right? But there is a shift in consciousness that is happening right now. So when people say that God is coming back, it is not literal, okay? It is spiritual. It is allegorical. It is... I'm going to explain. We have been indoctrinated into a fear-based society for so long that it is time for us to shift as a collective. Okay, what does that mean? That means that hi baby. When y'all, after y'all follow me, after this live is over, you go to my page. I have a pinned video explaining more of what I'm going to talk about today, but it's very condensed. Okay, so I do want to preface this by saying that we have been living in fear for so long. We have been living in systems of power and control for so long, and we have reached the end of our rope, okay, as a collective. And so now it is time for us to go through what is called the shift. Many souls came here to shift so that we can create the world that God intended for us to have, right? So that being said, there's a lot of things happening that will continue to happen, including the old external structures dissolving. Okay, the person that's in that White House right now has to be in that White House because he is here when you go through a process of healing dissolving. Okay, the person that's in that White House right now has to be in that White House because he is here when you go through a process of healing. When we're talking about spirituality and we're talking about healing, you cannot heal what you cannot see, right? So everything has to come to the surface first. Okay, what does that mean? That means that everything is going to be in our face. All the things that this country was built on, which is corruption, greed, control, power, right? All of that has to come to the surface because America has to be able to see itself for who it's been being. And so that man in that White House is literally a manifestation of everything that has ever been wrong with this country. And he forces America to see itself so it can heal itself, right? So that is why he is in that White House. Now it may look like shit is falling apart, and it is, but it's because something better can come together, and we're going to create that something better. Okay, before we can create that something better, shit is going to hit the fan because it has to crumble. It has to fall, right? This country, the principles that it was built on, the energy that it was built on, does not serve the whole. It serves the few. And we all deserve to live in a world, right? We all deserve to live in a world where our world serves the whole, not the few. Where people have, yes, we have already won. Hello, but that's another conversation for another day. Okay, and I might even talk about that today because it's relevant to today. So shit looks like it's hitting the fan. The job market sucks, all that stuff. You might not have been able to get a job for forever. Okay, trust that you're exactly where you need to be. I understand that you don't want to hear that from a random woman on the internet telling you to trust where you are when you got bills to pay, when you might not know how you're gonna pay the light bill, when you might not know what you're gonna eat the next day, right? This is a time now more than ever where you need to have a spiritual practice. Okay, No, Beatrice, you are not trying. You are doing. You either do or you don't. And the fact that you're putting effort towards it, you are doing. So you're not trying. Semantics is important. Words are important because words have power, right? So you are not trying. You are doing. This is not the time to be afraid, right? I remember last year when Spirit was preparing me for what was about to happen, okay? I heard, be not dismayed. This is not the time for you to live in fear. I know things look uncertain, and I know we don't know what's going to happen. And I know that there's a bunch of fear mongering happening out there. And there's also people who are trying to prepare you for what may come. But ultimately, you have to know that this is happening for us. Even if it don't look like it, even if it don't make sense. And that man in that White House, he don't know that he's also being used as a vessel to show people everything that's wrong. Because if y'all notice, when that man won, okay, eventually you have people coming out the woodwork saying, unfortunately, I voted for him and now I feel stupid. Now I feel dumb. And unfortunately, sometimes people are not able to see the severity of their actions until they are affected, right? So he had to win. They had to put him in position to win so they can see how they contributed to the demise of this country. So they can see, okay, the privilege that they had. So they can see that they've been so focused on the one themselves instead of the collective. And now that they're part of the collective that is suffering, now they're able to see how they contributed to what this country was built on, right? And they're going through their own karma. They're going through their own awakening because of it. So even if you don't understand why that man is in that White House, you got to trust that Spirit is intentional when I tell you. And sometimes we have to suffer in order for us to move beyond the suffering that we've created for ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that you're not a good person. I'm not saying that you even voted for that man because you could not have. But unfortunately, in order for everybody to get it, the whole to get it, we got to go through some things, right? And so the people who put that man in position, they're going through some things, right? Some of them are still to this day not even willing to face that, you know what, I made a mistake. And that's what they got to sit with. They got to sit with that, right? And the people who are able to get on this app and say, you know what, I made a decision, I voted for him. They have to sit with that uncomfortability. They have to sit with the fact that the country that they are creating for their children, they chose that. They have to sit with that. That's their shit to carry, not yours. That being said, this is still not the time to be afraid, right? This is the time to go within yourself. This is the time to question, who have I been being? Is who I've been being who I truly am? Or is it who I was taught I had to be in order to survive, in order to be safe, in order to be protected, right? And am I willing to do the hard thing and make a decision to be who God designed me to be the fullest expression of who God designed me to be? Or do I want to stay exactly where I am because ignorance is bliss? Do I want to stay exactly where I am because doing the work is hard? Do I want to stay exactly where I am because I'm not willing to face the parts of myself that really are not myself, that I'm not willing to sit with and acknowledge that it's not myself? Because if I sit and acknowledge that it's not myself, then my whole world would crumble. Everything that I know would crumble. And I'm not ready for that. So I'm okay with living in my ignorance, because at least I don't have to sit in shit I don't want to sit in. And listen, that's a choice. Life is a culmination of choices. And this is the thing about this shit that's happening in consciousness. Some people are going to choose to stay the same. Even if their soul is calling them to move forward, even if they're miserable, they're going to choose that because sabotaging your growth feels familiar, and where you are feels familiar than changing, right? And the gag is, you think that you have to become someone else in order to shift. You're just really returning to yourself. But returning to yourself takes work. And some people are not willing to do that. And that is okay. So some people will choose to play out their lessons in fear. Some people will move with the old, stay with the old. And there are others who will thrive in the new. And those others are the people who are willing to take a look at themselves, the people who are willing to do their work, the people who are willing to pay attention to themselves, who they've been being, question, is this who I am, or is this who I was taught I was had to be? And if it's not, then do the work to return back to self, right? But the thing about when you are able to start seeing, when the veil starts lifting for you, once you see, you can't unsee it. And it happens that way for a reason, because it's meant to make you uncomfortable so that you don't stay the same, right? But some people will still choose to do so. And this is not a place to judge them. Because I remember when I was not ready to do it, when I was not ready to sit in my shit, right? So there's grace there, there's compassion there, there's love there. There is no judgment from me because I understand it. I love you too, baby. Everything that you've ever known, when you go through that realization that everything that you have ever known is a lie, when you realize that who you are is not really who you are, so then who am I then? Yeah, that's not easy to sit in. I understand it. I've been through it. But what I can tell you is, I could not continue to go to bed and wake up and go to bed and wake up and go to bed and wake up, seeing what I saw and not doing anything to change it, because I was also contributing to the problem. I was also contributing to the world that I claimed I didn't want to live in anymore. So I decided to do something about it. And that meant doing the hard thing. That meant sitting with myself in a silence. That meant isolating myself from the world. That meant actually putting a mirror up to myself and saying, who am I? Are these beliefs mine? Am I being who I intuitively feel like I was created to be? Or am I being somebody that I thought I had to be safe? And when I realized the answer, when I realized that I was the performer, when I realized that I was the people pleaser, when I realized that I was the overachiever, all the things that I thought I truly was and I really wasn't, I made a decision that I was going to actually start to live for me. And in order for me to live for me, in order for me to choose me, in order for me to choose God, because living for yourself is living for God and choosing God, right? Because when you say, God, I trust you, God, I understand that who I've been is not who I am, and I want to be the highest expression of who you created me to be, and so I'm willing to show up every single day, even when it don't feel good. I'm willing to sit in my shit when it don't feel good. I'm willing to be here and acknowledge who I've been. Then you're gonna get somewhere. But everybody ain't ready to do that. Every day, show up every day, even when it don't feel good, even when your mind is telling you stop doing it, even when your friends is not shifting, even when your family is negative and acting the same old way, you gotta still choose. Friends is not shifting, even when your family is negative and acting the same old way, you gotta still choose to show up anyway, even when they don't understand. I moved 2,500 miles away from my family. Okay, that's how committed I was to this, and it was not easy. I went through things. Let me tell you, it was not easy. But Spirit is so funny because had I known what I had to go through to get here, I would not have left. I would not have left. But now that I've gotten here, I would do it again. Because the peace that I feel, the fulfillment that I feel, the anchoredness in my spirit that I feel, nothing outside of me can shake me. Nothing, because I know who I am. Nothing outside of me can make me feel less than, because I know who I am. Nothing outside of me, I don't require validation from a soul because I know who I am. You see what I'm saying? And I would not be here had I not gone through the shit that I need to go through, the dark, okay, to be the light. Right? So this time is about being the light. But in order for you to be the light, to be that clear channel for God to use you, right? For you to be the best vessel, for you to be who God designed you to be, you got to go through the darkness first, and everybody not willing to do that. But this is the time to go through your darkness, sit in your shit, so you can be the light. Because you already are the light, right? But you got the dark ass energies weighing you down. You got fear wearing you down. You got the need to be validated weighing you down, okay? You got the need to want to people please weighing you down. You got the need to be the hyper independent weighing you down, right? So you have to be willing to say, you know what? I'm not going to be the people pleaser anymore. You know what? I'm not going to be the overachiever anymore. You know what? I'm not going to be the person who plays the victim anymore. You know what? I'm not going to be the person who's the peacemaker anymore. You know what? I'm not going to be the mom or the caretaker anymore. You know what? I'm not going to be those things anymore because they don't serve me. And I actually get to live for me. I get to choose me. I get to make myself the center of my world and not feel bad about it, right? And not feel guilty about it. I get to do what brings me joy, right? I get to put myself in a position where I can wake up every single day and do what I love because I know on an intuitive level that work was not supposed to be something that drains me. It was supposed to be something that feeds me. It's supposed to be something that makes me want to continue to show up, right? Work, we got it all wrong. Work is not supposed to be this thing that drains you. It's not supposed to drain you. It's supposed to energize you. That's what you call purpose. That's what you call alignment, right? And this world taught us that we had to get up and we had to go to these jobs that we fucking hate to help fund other people's college funds, other people's children's college funds, okay, and their wealth while depleting ours. No, that's not what the fuck we came here for. Excuse my language. We came here to thrive. We came here to be more than what we were taught we had to be. But in order for us to be that more, we got to be willing to take ownership of what we created, of who we thought we had to be safe. And that takes honesty, that takes love, that takes compassion and non-judgment for yourself, because I'm telling you now, you're going to be mad at yourself, you're going to judge yourself, it's a part of the process, but on the other side of that judgment is love. And eventually you'll get to a place where you say, you know what, I'm not necessarily the proudest of who I thought I had to be, but I can accept that I was that person because I thought I had to be that, and I love myself still, and I know that I did the best with what I knew at the time. And so even though I've spent my entire life living for others, my entire life being someone else that I did not know, that I felt like I had to be, I'm going to spend the rest of my life living for me. I'm going to spend the rest of my life being the highest expression of who God designed me to be. I'm going to spend the rest of my life being in the driver's seat instead of letting my trauma speak for me, instead of letting my trauma make the decisions, instead of letting my self-sabotaging habits be in the driver's seat for me. I'm going to lead with love. I'm going to walk with love in my heart, love in my aura, love in my being. I'm going to lead with love. I'm going to walk with love in my heart, love in my aura, love in my being. I'm not going to make decisions from fear. I'm not going to let fear control me. I'm not going to let some man in the White House make him think that he's going to put fear in my heart, because I'm connected to the one, because I'm connected to the all, because church is inside of myself, right? And I don't care what it looks like outside of me. I know that inherently I'm safe. Inherently I'm enough. Inherently I'm worthy. Inherently I'm abundant. And I'm not going to let this world tell me different. So I'm going to commit to doing my work. I'm going to commit to showing up for myself. I'm going to commit to being who God designed me to be, because I know that God makes no mistakes and I'm here for a reason, and I intend to figure out what that reason is. I intend to figure out what that reason is. I intend that the generational curses break with me. I intend to live for me. I intend to be the highest expression of who I was designed to be. And that's a decision that you have to be willing to make for yourself. Nobody can make it for you. Nobody can save you. You do not need to be saved by anyone, because you have all the tools that you need within you to save yourself. And so your choice is, the question that you have to ask yourself is, do I want to save me? Or do I want to keep living in my ignorance, because ignorance is bliss? Do I want to keep living in a world where it's literally all about fear and control and power and greed? Or do I want to be the one who's going to create something new? We have an opportunity to create something new, where we can love each other, where we don't have to compete with each other, where we don't have to operate from fear. And it starts with us making those individualized decisions for self. Not with us judging somebody else for what they're not doing, or what they said they're going to do, or what we think they should do. It starts with turning our attention inward, turning our attention to ourselves, turning our attention to, who am I being? And is who I'm being in alignment with who I was designed and created to be? Or is it who I was taught I had to be? Or am I operating from a program? Or am I in this world, or am I of it? You see what I'm saying? So that's the time that I'm not even talking about what I planned today with my notes, because I just prayed before I got on here and I said, Spirit, just use me. That's it. I want to speak from my heart. I want to speak from love. And so this is what we're talking about right now. Right? But this is a time where we're going through a shift in consciousness. Okay? You do not have to die to get to heaven. You don't. They lied. You don't have to die. Heaven is here, or hell is here. You choose. You want to continue to live from fear? You want to continue to live from control? You want to continue to manipulate people? Right? You want to continue to not have the best heart posture? Do that. Go ahead. You want to live in hell? You want to create it for yourself? You want to continue to create it for yourself? Because hell is not a place. It is a state of being. It is a state of consciousness. Right? Hell is here if you choose it, but so is heaven. Heaven is here too if you choose it. And because you are creator, because you are made in the image of all that is, because you get to create the life that you want for yourself, right? You get to choose it. And so you have to ask yourself the question, do I want to live in heaven or do I want to live in hell? What do I choose for me? What do I choose for my unborn children? What do I choose for my family? What do I choose for my children who are here right now? Do I choose heaven or do I choose hell? Do I choose to pass on the generational curse once again, right? Or do I choose something different? It's your choice. It's your choice. But we all have a decision to make. All of us. And it comes down to, what do I want for me? And I'm going to be honest with you. Walking the road less traveled, because that's what it will be, right? Walking the road less traveled is not easy to do, because you've never seen anybody in your family do it, because you've never seen anyone around you do it. So you're going to have moments where you doubt. You're going to have moments where you question. It is going to be lonely. That does not mean you don't go. That does not mean you don't walk. That does not mean you don't listen to the thing on the inside of you say to keep getting up and keep moving forward, even when life don't look the way you want it to, even when everyone around you is negative, even when people around you questioning you, not understanding what the hell you got going on. Listen, God gave you the vision. God told you to get up. God told you to move forward. They're not going to understand. They're not supposed to, because that's not their calling. That's not their job. It's yours. So you're going to do your job or you're not. And listen, like I said, everyone is not going to go. And that's okay too. Because some people, in order for them to evolve and grow on a soul level, they have to live out they have to play out their lessons in fear. That's none of our business. Right? Our business is, what can I do? How can I start today? How can I show up for me? How can I show up for my children? So that I can create a world that I want to live in. That's your job. That's your job. But you do not have to die to get to heaven. Heaven is here. Okay? When they say that Christ is coming back, Christ consciousness is a state of consciousness. It is a state of being. It is not, oh, I have to unalive myself in order for me to finally be free, in order for me to finally experience heaven. No. You get to choose it now, here. Why would God create himself to have this human experience just for it to have to wait to experience heaven? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Heaven is here right now. And you get to choose it. There are people who are thriving, who are making a lot of money in their business, who are traveling, right? Who are living their absolute best lives. And some people will not even be able to understand or conceive that, because they're living in hell. They're living in fear. They're not in alignment with that life. So they can't even conceptualize or understand how that's even possible. But you don't have that level of consciousness. You're not operating in a high vibration. You're not operating from a place of love. You're still moving from your old ways of being. And you're not understanding how that's even possible. Because it don't matter what's going on in the state of the world. The world could be crumbling. But if you are operating from a certain vibration, you are operating from energy. Because I tell you all the time, everything is energy, right? So if your energy is a high vibration, if you're operating from a different octave, by definition, you cannot experience the same shit that other people are experiencing, because you're not living in that reality. You're not living in that state of consciousness, right? So you don't realize that everything that you're experiencing outside of you is a reflection of what's in you. You change what's in you, you change what's outside of you. So just because they're struggling, don't mean you have to. Just because somebody else is suffering, don't mean you have to. It don't mean you have to. Because we are all worlds unto ourselves. We are all our own realities unto ourselves. You experience what you create by what's going on internally. So how do you shift reality? By shifting self. Yes. Taylor said the world is a screen, we are the projector. Yes. And the projector is what is within you. That's what you're projecting, because you can only see yourself. So that's why I tell y'all, that's why I talk to y'all about identity so much, because this world can only show you yourself. So if you're somebody who's carrying old beliefs of lack and scarcity, okay, and you're in fear and things of that nature, right? What do you think you're going to be? What do you think you're going to experience, heaven or hell? But if you're somebody who has done your work, is doing your work, you're going to go through a transitionary period, because physical reality is denser, so it takes a little bit more time for it to catch up. But eventually your life is going to reflect the world that you created internally. It has to, because that's how physical reality works. It is a manifestation of who you are being. It has to respond to your identity, as within, so without. Simple. So ultimately, it's up to you to decide, what kind of life do I want for myself? What kind of life do I want to live? Am I willing to put the work in? Right? And go from there. So yeah, the old ways of being are falling away. We're moving into a new state of being. Old ways include seeking worth outside yourself. I have my notes, y'all. Making a decision from fear, staying attached to identities that no longer fit you. Okay? Looking for someone external to complete you. Staying attached to people, places, or things that you think complete you. To complete you. Staying attached to people, places, or things that you think complete you. That's returning to the wholeness that's already existing within you. Returning to the worthiness that already exists within you. So I'm not telling y'all this because I want to get y'all attention. I do want to get y'all attention though, but I'm telling you this because I teach y'all about identity. I get on here and talk about these classes. I talk about helping you shift your reality by shifting your identity, which is returning you back to your wholeness, because there's I play a part in what's happening in the world, just like we all do. We all play our part, right? And my part that I play is what I'm here to do is teach. What I'm here to do is guide. What I'm here to do is help you return back to yourself. Does that make sense? That's the role that I play. You got to figure out, that's who God created me to be. And so I'm doing what I was designed to do. That's why my energy is magnetic. That's why y'all can see the light in me. That's why you can see God in me. That's why I talk so fast sometimes, because it's not me. I'm just the vessel, right? And it's the energy, it's spirit using me to be the vessel to speak. But something to you is captivating about that, because you can sense my authenticity. You can sense that I'm being genuine, right? You can sense it. You can feel it. People feel me. That's because you feel God. You feel the authenticity that is God speaking through me, using me, right? Because we are simply just all individualized expressions of that, of the all. And when you do your work enough, when you clear the energy out, you can also be used as well. So you got to figure out what your role is, right? What you are here for, who God created you to be, and then do that. It might not be being a spiritual guidance teacher. It might be being a mother, right? It might be being an artist. It might be being a singer. It might be being a dancer. Whatever it is, do that because it is enough. Do that because we need you. Do that because you are worthy. Do that because the more people that we have operating in their light, what do you think happens when we have a lot of light? It's able to shine a light on the darkness, and it inspires others to shine theirs as well. Right? So my intention with coming on here is not just to teach y'all, and not just to guide y'all, and not just to speak life into you, and not just to help you remember who you are, but it is to be the light that God is, and hopefully inspire you to do the same. Because that's what it's about. It's not about me, it's about us. It's about how we can serve each other. So think, how can I serve? How can I serve? What ways am I being called to serve? And the way that your spirit speaks to you is through your joy. Follow your joy. Follow what lights you up, because that is spirit speaking to you. See, when you're born, you already have a natural energetic signature that is distinct to you. But most people have their intuitive channels shut off. So they don't understand how spirit communicates to them. Now, I will say, spirit communicates to all of us differently, but the language of the soul, the language of the spirit is joy, passion. So when you're doing what makes you happy, you're in flow. When you're doing what makes you feel good, you're in flow. Pay attention. What do I want to do in this moment? What actually makes me happy? What brings me joy that I can do every single day and not get paid for it? Because this is the thing. You don't work for money, okay? You do not work for money. You do not work for money. Money comes to you as a result of you being your authentic self. Money flows to you as a result of you serving and doing what makes you happy. You do not work for money, because money comes from you, okay? You have God, which is the highest expression, the infinite intelligence, all that is. You have God's highest creation, which is you, right? And everything comes from that. So money comes from you because it comes from God, and you come from God. That means you do not work for money. You do not put money above you, because money is not above you. You do not put money on a pedestal, because it literally is paper. They print that shit every day. They can't print a you. You know all the things that happen, that do you understand all the things that had to happen for you to be here? They can't, nobody can duplicate that. All the people who had to meet, who had to mate just for you to be here. That can't be printed. Do you understand? So money should not be put above you. You don't ask, oh, how can I make money? You ask, how can I serve? Because the money gonna come. Right? When you do not have your heart in the right place, I promise you will not prosper, because the earth is shifted. The energy is different. The energy different now. So it's God, it's you, God's highest creation. Money comes after that. Money does not come above you. You don't do things for money. That's not how that works. You do it because that's how you serve. You do it because that will bring, that's what makes you happy. You do it because that's you following your joy. The money will come. You don't put money above you, ever. It's paper with money. It's paper. I want y'all to really be able to understand what money is. Okay? Money is paper with numbers on it that humans decided to give value to. We collectively came together and said, this paper with money is going to be a tool for us to use to occupy this earthly plane, so that we can do what we need to do or what we want to do. It is an energy exchange. It is a resource that we decided was a resource. It does not have value without us giving it a definition of, this thing allows us to do what we need to do. You understand? Do we understand? Let's actually look at this. This is paper. It's paper. It has numbers on it, and it's a tool. And I can give this to somebody, and they can give me something in exchange for it. It's not above you. And yet people unalive people for it. People manipulate for it. People sell their souls for it, when it's not more than who you are. Do we understand? You do not work for money. You work because it brings you joy. Work is not supposed to be, and that's another thing, work is not supposed to be, I have to get my ass up and go do this thing that I fucking hate every day just to survive. That's what you call living in survival. That's not how you were designed to live. You were designed to, what your work is supposed to be your service. Your service is supposed to be you following your joy. Some people's service is being a comedian. They're really good at it. They shine so bright. They light up when they do it, and they make other people laugh. That's how they give to the world, right? Some people's service is painting pictures. They're really good at it. They can evoke emotions in other people when those people look at the pictures, right? And that is how they serve. Other people is singing. They have a tune within them that only they carry that lights something up in someone else. That is how they serve. I teach. I can change the way that you see or perceive things. I can inspire you to shift how you perceive reality. That is my service, right? I can guide you through your trauma. I can guide you through your darkness and help you return to your wholeness. That is my service. It don't feel like work to me because it's who I am. Me talking to y'all is an extension of my being. This is not work to me. I don't have to figure out how can I make money. I get to wake up every day and say, you know what? How can I serve? How can I help them understand and understand themselves? What can I create that is actually going to help them be better than who they were last year or the year before? How can I get them closer to living a life of abundance? How can I get them closer to living a life where they can attract the kind of relationships and the kind of success and the self-confidence and the worthiness that they already inherently have, that I want them to be able to see? I don't have to manipulate and do anything. I just simply have to be myself, because being myself is enough. Being yourself is enough. Because who God intended you to be was always enough. I need you to stop thinking that where you are is not where you will always be. Now, I'm not saying you quit your job today if that's not what Spirit is telling you to do. Spirit told me to quit my job years ago. That might not be what you're being called to do. I was made sure that I was going to be taken care of. I just had to take the leap first. And so I listened to what Spirit told me to do. And I've been carried ever since. Right? But my story may not be your story. That's why you have to build your own relationship with Spirit. That's why you have to be able to connect and anchor to your spirit. Because where it's guiding you, it may not be the same way in which my spirit guides me. And my spirit, your spirit, is all spirit, right? But we all are here to live and walk different paths. So that's why you got to stay anchored in self. And you got to be connected to that intuition, because it's always leading you and guiding you always. But a lot of y'all have y'all channels shut off from y'all intuition, so y'all can't hear. But something in you is telling you, I'm not supposed to be at this damn job. I shouldn't have to cry every single day that I come here or be miserable when I come here. The signs be there and y'all just ignore them because y'all feel like this is the way life is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that way. You actually get to thrive. You actually get to be happy with yourself. You actually get to wake up every single day and do what you love to do. If you crying and miserable at that job, that's your spirit telling you right there, this ain't for you. But you can't even see it. You can't see it because you think this is just how life is supposed to be, because this is the life my mother had and my dad had and the world had and the world told me I had to have. No, it's not. That's not the life you have to have if you don't want that life for yourself. Your spirit don't want you to have that life for yourself. That's why you're miserable. That's why you're crying, because it's trying to get you to see, hey, we're not supposed to be here. Hey, we need to start moving our way out of this situation. Hello? You got to start listening to your spirit, because it's always communicating to you. It's always speaking to you. Always. But it's hot up in here, girl, okay? I didn't know we was going to have church today. My God. My bad, y'all. It's hot as hell. My God. She said your throat chakra is powerful, girl, because I'm a speaker. I'm a communicator. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I have Scorpio in my 3rd house of communication. I have Pluto there as well. I have Jupiter in Scorpio as well. So you're going to feel me when I talk. I'm a Cancer Mercury in the 10th house, which is career. You're going to feel me when I talk. I'm going to evoke emotion within you when I talk, because I'm doing what I was designed to do. Yeah. I'm walking in what you call purpose. So you're going to feel me. That's why y'all can feel my authenticity. Y'all can feel when I speak. Y'all can feel my words, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm being myself. Me being myself. And you can do the same thing. You got to figure out who you were designed to be. Your spirit has already gotten you there. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Or are you so wrapped up and enmeshed with what's going on out here that you closing off that access to yourself? The answers are in here. It's not out there. They're in here. But you're so busy looking out here. You're so busy looking outside of yourself that you can't even see them. You can't see it. You disconnected from yourself. You're trying to find the answers. But the kingdom of God is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Don't it say seek ye the kingdom of God and all these things shall be added unto you? Seek the kingdom of God and all these things should be added unto you. You out here working and slaving instead of seeking the kingdom. The kingdom isn't here. Seeking the kingdom means going within myself, doing the work to release who I am not, so I can be who I authentically am, operating from that place and that state of being, and letting life respond to that state of being. Because your natural energetic signature is already in alignment. Your natural state of being is in alignment with your desires, in alignment with your wants, in alignment with everything, the money that you want to make, all of that. But you're so busy being who you thought you had to be, who you were taught you had to be, that you're blocking yourself off from it, because you're not in alignment with the things that you want, with the desires that your soul craves. Because you so heavily identify with your ego, and that's not who you are. You see what I'm saying? So, do your work. Show up for yourself. Make a decision. Come to these classes that I teach. Learn more about yourself. Journey said, how do you begin to get connected? Sit in the silence. Focus on the breath. Sit in the silence. Start journaling. No distractions, no phone, no TV, no kids, no nothing. Because in order for you to be connected to yourself, you got to hear it. You can't hear nothing because you're so focused on out here. So now you got to block out here out and connect to here so you can hear your spirit. So when I tell y'all about the things that I be telling y'all, and that's just one story. That ain't even close to the things that I've experienced in this life. Y'all don't even have a clue, okay? So when I tell y'all that you're always being guided, if you open up that part of yourself that is always leading you, and if you trust that you are guided and led, right? Then you have no other choice than to be guided and led, and I knew that I was. So, and during that time, I didn't have to worry about working. Even before then, I had not worked in years, and I was still taken care of and provided for. Oh, I can give y'all stories. You hear me? And so I'm telling you, there is something much greater than you that is always leading and guiding you if you allow yourself to be guided by it. And it is a part of yourself that cannot be created or destroyed. It is a part of yourself that is eternal. It is the part of yourself that is unchanged. It is a part of yourself that is unmoved by anything that you are experiencing, any struggle you perceive, any suffering that you perceive. It is not moved by any of that because it knows the truth of who it is, that it is above all of it, that this is simply just an experience that it chose as God, that it chose as consciousness, that it chose as awareness to have. And so when you know who you are, right? When you know that there's something greater than you guiding you and leading you, when you know that you come from something to think that is already worthy, already whole, already complete, and does not need you to suffer if you choose not to. Humans create suffering. That's our doing. That's not God. That's our doing. You want to stop suffering? Turn to God. You want to stop struggling? Turn to God. Humans create suffering because we thinking. That thinking mind, that ego, that flesh, that's what creates the suffering. Comparing yourself to other people in their life and you don't know what they had to do to get what they got. Everything that glitters ain't gold, Bookie. You don't know if they have to sell their soul to get it or not, but you here comparing yourself in your life to everybody else's. Hello? So when I speak to y'all and talk to y'all about things, I'm not telling you something that sounds good. I have lived this life for almost 10 years. I have gone to school. I've gotten downloads from spirits throughout my life. I've always been intuitive and connected to that part of myself, always, even since I was a kid. And I thought everybody was that way, but everyone is not. Even though we are all intuitive, there are a lot of people who are disconnected from that part of themselves. I have always been connected to that part of myself. I've always been able to watch myself as I'm living my life experience, always. But it makes sense because it contributed to who I'm supposed to be and guide, and how I'm supposed to guide other people, right? So that's just part of who I was designed to be for a reason, for a purpose. But I'm not telling y'all what I don't know. I'm telling y'all what I've lived. I'm telling y'all what baby, I've never seen that gift before. Thank you, mama. I'm telling y'all what I've lived. I'm telling y'all what I've embodied. I'm telling y'all what I've integrated. I'm telling y'all what I've healed. You see what I'm saying? I'm not pulling this shit out my ass. Excuse my language. Forgive me. And so I know that if I can be pulled out the situations that I was in, listen, so can you. If I can come from who I used to be, so can you. If I can leave everything that I ever knew to find myself and really return to myself, because who you are is not lost. It's just underneath all the programming and the conditioning of who you think you are, right? But if I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's what I'm here for. And that's what's happening with the collective consciousness, right? We are shifting as a collective. Like I said, everybody will not go. They don't have to go, but focus on yourself. If you want to shift, if you know that something in you was created for more, if you know that the life that you're living does not align with the life that you want, if God has given you a vision for your life and what it look like right now down the line, trust that. Trust that. Because that's telling you that there's more. I don't think so, baby. No, Beatrice. I don't think so. I don't know. But that's telling you that there's more than what you currently are. You are here to expand and become more of yourself. That's what you are here for. You are here to be the highest expression of who you were designed to be. That is what you are here for. And you can choose to stay asleep unconsciously, or you can choose to wake the hell up to what's really going on here. Life is spiritual. This is spiritual. And if you start to open and train that spiritual eye, you'll see what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? But people so afraid to see, some of them. Others of them are so caught up in identity and who they think they are. If y'all been here before, you know what identity is, who I believe myself to be. You so heavily identify with your struggling and your suffering and your living paycheck to paycheck that you think that's who you are. You think you that dollar in your bank account or that negative balance in your bank account when it's just a number in an account that has no connection to who you truly are, to the greatness that you are. Right? I remember watching a sermon, this was a minute ago, years ago, and it always stuck with me. You have these little pine cones, right? We are all these little pine cones, and these little pine cones, as you water them, as they get planted, they grow into these huge trees, huge. And the bigness that they are, the greatness that they are, it already existed within that little pine cone. But the problem with people is that they don't plant themselves. They don't water themselves. And so just because you can't see the greatness in you, because your life don't look a certain way, don't mean that it's not there, but it means that you have not planted yourself long enough, huh? You have not watered yourself long enough to see the greatness that you already are. So you want to see how big you can get? You want to see how great you already are? Because mind you, the pine cone is this little. It's little. But the tree that it can become, right? And think about all the things that it can provide, the shade that it can provide, the oxygen that it can provide. You see what I'm saying? But you're not planting yourself. You're not planting yourself. You're not watering yourself. That's a you thing. So you got to get, when I say you got to plant yourself, you got to get intentional about your life. You got to get intentional about yourself. You got to get intentional about your future. You got to get intentional about connecting to that part of yourself that cannot be created or destroyed. You got to get intentional about who you surround yourself with. You got to get intentional about what you put in your body. You got to get intentional about how you treat your temple. You got to get intentional about what you put your energy into. Get focused, get planted. And once you get planted, once you make a decision of what my life is supposed to look like, once you make a decision that I will have because I am deserving of, then you water. You water. You water yourself. You water yourself. You water yourself. You water yourself. And before you know it, you'll be that big tree because the greatness was already in you. It was already there. It was always there. But you couldn't see it because you only saw yourself as this little pine cone. When God saw the tree, God saw the tree. That's why you're here, because there's a tree in you, even if you can't see it. Ooh, Spirit, that was good. Clap it up for Spirit, y'all. That was good. That was good. Woo, that was good. My God. Yes. Self-love. Calling yourself out on your shit. Being accountable for your actions. Yeah. Water yourself. Speak life into yourself. Pour into yourself. Show up for yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I say water yourself. When I say water yourself, decide who you were created to be. Go back into yourself. Remember who you were created to be. Follow your joy. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, baby. You don't even have to do that. But if you want to, you can. Because we wasn't even supposed to be doing this today. But I said, you know what? I prayed before I got on this live because I wasn't able to get my whiteboard today. So we did not have a class. But you know why I wasn't able to get it? Because this is exactly what I needed to be saying right now. YouTube is link in bio. And so even when it don't make sense, I said, Spirit, why is all this happening? I can't get my whiteboard. I can't get nothing. And I said, you know what, Spirit? I don't know how, but I trust you. Right? I don't know how, but I trust you. 14 minutes until I go live at 11:30 a.m. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I started to put things together really quickly. Right? And I said, you know what? Actually, no. Let me pray. Thank you, baby. I've never seen that before either. These gifts are so cute. And I prayed and I said, Spirit, use me. Use me to be the vessel that you created me to be. I don't know what this live is going to be about today. I have my notes. But if you have something different, use me. Because I'm here to serve. Use me. Because you know my heart. Use me. And here we are. Almost 2 hours later. And that's what happens when you allow yourself to be used. That's what happens when you allow yourself to trust. That's what happens when you surrender. That's what happens when you trust, even when it don't make sense. That's what happens. Because when I tell you this was not on my agenda, but that's how Spirit move. It don't gotta make sense. I love you too, mama. It don't gotta make sense. Spirit is the sense. So it don't gotta make sense. All you gotta do is trust. All you gotta do is believe. All you gotta do is plant yourself and water yourself and make a decision of the life that you're gonna have and then choose to have it. See, life is a combination of choices. I tell you that all the time. So you want a different life? Choose it. You're not separate from God. You know how God created this entire existence? Chose it. God chose it. And God made a decision. God made a decision and said, let there be light. And so there was light. Right? Now, if you're not separate from God, you're an extension of that. You're an individualized expression of that. And that means you also have the same ability to do so. You have the ability to say, let there be light, and there can be light. Meaning, you have the ability to make a decision about what you want your life to look like and make it so. You can do the same thing. All you have to do is make a decision and then choose that decision every single day until before you know it, it's here. Because you decided you were going to have it. Because you chose it consciously. Because you no longer want to be ran by your programming and your conditioning. So you made a decision. Just like God made a decision to have you here. Because you're here for a reason. Yes. Hi, Paula. I haven't seen you in a minute, mama. Mama said, do I have a book? Girl, everybody been telling me I need to write a book. I have right now a trigger tracker for y'all, which I'm about to change this price really quick right now. Hold on. I have a trigger tracker, and it's for people who want to start to do their work. It's usually $25. And in my lives, when it shows me that y'all are committed to doing your work and showing up for yourself, I always discount it. So it's $15 right now. I just changed the price. It's a trigger tracker. It'll help you become aware. If you click on the link in my bio, it'll take you directly to my YouTube channel. Click on the link, and then you'll see the YouTube icon. You click there, go follow. This live will be up there. I'll have it on there. But yeah, I have a trigger tracker right now. I also have one-to-one sessions as well. I currently have, hey baby, hi Ilana, how are you, mama? I currently have 3 one-to-one sessions. This is for people who want to shift their reality by shifting their identity. I'm a metaphysician. You get the trigger tracker, you click the link in my bio, it's in the Stan.store. So it's usually $25. I just made it $15 because I'm on the live. I only discount it when I'm in the live. So it's $12.53, probably around $111. I might change the price back, or $222. I change the price back depending on when I get off of here. The trigger tracker allows you to track yourself, to track your triggers, see yourself in real time, so your trauma can stop being in control of your life, right? And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We're going through a shift in consciousness. And so some people are going to choose to continue to play out their lessons and fears. Other people will continue to shift. They'll start to do their work to shift. The gap between the life that you want to have and where you are is healing, is integration, is calling yourself out of your shit, is sitting in your shit, is being aware of self, is seeing who you've been being, right? And so in order for you to get to that place, you have to start to do your work. The trigger tracker helps people to start to do their work. It helps them to start to see their patterns, helps them see themselves clearly. It helps them to connect the dots between who they're being, why their life is the way that it is, so they can see exactly what they created for themselves. Because people don't still realize their power as creators, right? It helps you to see your identity. Who am I being, right? There's shadow work sections in there. There's an identity detective in there, so you can connect the dots to see who you've been being and why your life is the way that it is. Then there's a place for you to track your patterns and things like that. There's a place for you to note your integration phases, to see where you are in your transformation. All of that is in the trigger tracker. So, and I'll probably leave it at that price, $15 until like $222 or $111 Eastern time. It's $12.55 right now. And that's if you feel called to do your work, if you're ready to show up for yourself. Everybody's not ready, like I said, and that's okay. There's no judgment here. We all have our own time. So, but if you're here, I can guarantee you that if you have not started your process, you will. This may be the first time you're hearing this, right? But you didn't find me because I only align to people who are on that path or getting ready to walk that path. So you found me for a reason. When you're ready to start to do your work, that's on you. That's on you. And then I have one-to-one sessions. I have clarity sessions for pattern mapping. I have soul alignment sessions, and I have your transformation session. Mabayana, I'm thinking about, I used to offer spiritual guidance one-to-one. Now I'm more so it is spiritual guidance, but not in the way that I used to. And I'm thinking about bringing that back. I am thinking about bringing that back. My one-to-ones for because the sessions that I offer now is for helping you to shift your reality by shifting identity, right? And returning to your wholeness. But I also understand that there are some people who just want spiritual guidance, not necessarily to do the big thing, which is to do that kind of work. They want healing, things like that. So, and I used to offer that, and I think I'm going to bring that back because that's also such a huge part of who I am, and I know that that's a way that I can serve people. So I have to figure out the logistics of that. I think right now I would have people book a pattern mapping session as like a spiritual guidance session, but I can create a separate session for that, and it'll probably be the same as like a pattern mapping as far as pricing and the time frame, which is 30 minutes. So yeah. Hey baby. I'm thinking about bringing that back because I used to read tarot, and I used to also offer like spiritual intuitive guidance, and now the guidance that I offer it's intuitive guidance, but it's more so to help people return to themselves and guiding them within themselves to help do their nervous system regulation work, somatic processing, emotional processing, subconscious reprogramming, things like that, right? Oh, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations, Mom B. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. That's beautiful. I'm clapping for you. That's beautiful. Yes, for sure. So yeah, that's something I have to pray about. And if that is what spirit would have me do, then that's what I will do. But I will let y'all know if that's something I bring back. I feel like I will be bringing that back. So we were kind of all over the place today. We were all over the place today, y'all. I'm sorry I was not able to have a class, but I'm also understanding that this is exactly what I was supposed to do today. So if y'all have not yet gotten your trigger tracker, oh yeah, I'd love to have you here. If y'all have not yet gotten your trigger tracker, I actually might change the price at $111 because I have other things to do today and I don't want to forget to change the price. So I will leave. Okay, baby. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, stay here. You're going to love it. Welcome to the soul family. You're going to love it here. I am simply just, I want to clarify this and say this. I do not need y'all to put me on a pedestal. I am having a human experience just like y'all. I'm not absolved for my own lessons as well, but I am here to live an unconventional life. So my life is very spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person. I live and walk a spiritual path. I don't just talk about it. I don't talk about the woo-woo stuff. And like I live this in real life. You hear me? So I don't want y'all to put me on a pedestal. I am simply just a vessel. When I have these lives and I'm going off and I'm just talking and yapping and I'm speaking fast, that is not me. Okay? That is spirit. I'm just a vessel. So I'm not better than you. I'm not different than you. And I don't want there to be I don't want y'all to feel like there's a hierarchy here because there's not. It might be a spiritual hierarchy here because of the work that I do, right? And I'm a seasoned spiritual vet. I've been doing this for a long time, but there's not I don't believe that I'm better. I'm different. But I'm just a humbled servant. That is all. So I want to clarify that. How to kill self-doubt when you feel incompetent. What is making you feel incompetent? And where is that story coming from? See, our mind likes to create stories about ourselves, right? And you have to be aware enough to pay attention to the story or the narrative that your mind is creating. Because if you don't know how to do that, then you'll spiral into, oh, I'm not enough, oh, I'm not competent, I'm not smart enough. And then you'll psych yourself, trick yourself out of doing whatever you need to do. So you feel incompetent because you don't have the skills. Skills can be taught. We're all incompetent in the beginning. So it's normal to be incompetent. Thank you, baby. It's normal to be incompetent because you have to start off not knowing before you know, right? So first you need to stop being hard on yourself. You probably got Virgo energy. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be you. You said, but I failed so many times. What's wrong with failure? Who told you failure was wrong? You know how many times I failed? Do you know how many times I failed? Failure is not wrong. It means you tried. And so try again. You feel bad because you failed, but you have this definition. You got to pay attention to the definition that you give failure. Failure does not mean life is over. Failure means I tried. Failure means I didn't quit. Failure means I learned something that I don't need to repeat next time because I've seen what does not work. So when you change your relationship, your definition of failure, it won't create suffering for you. But humans, like I said earlier, create our own suffering. You think that because you failed, that's a bad thing. You know how many times Jeff Bezos failed? You know how much money that man has right now in his account? Now that might not be the best option because his moral compass might be effed up. But I'm just talking like as an example. Failure is part of learning. Failure is part of being human. If you didn't fail, you wouldn't appreciate winning. So it has its place. You know what I'm saying? Why do we keep falling off on our journey? Because that's part of the journey. Sometimes you're gonna fall off. You're human. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be human. It comes with it, and it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get up. But I would pay attention to the pattern, right? Why do I keep falling? What is making me fall? Is it the same situation that's happening and I keep falling off, or is it something different? How am I sabotaging myself in this walk, in this journey? Pay attention to your pattern. Place that I've been criticized so often, it's hard not to see myself as a failure. So what that means is you've internalized other people's criticism of yourself. Somebody's criticism of you have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. Why are you internalizing someone's criticism of you and making it mean something about you? What does Tay say about Tay? How does Tay feel about Tay? How can you make that more important? Because that's what matters the most. It don't matter what nobody think about you. How do you think about you? What do you think about you? How do you see you? And from what you said, you see you through the lens of how others see you because you've internalized how others see you and you think that it means something about you. It don't mean anything about you. It means something about them. And they're allowed to believe whatever they want to about Tay. They're allowed to perceive Tay however they want to. They're allowed to criticize Tay because free will is a thing. But Tay is also allowed to not have to agree or believe what other people say about Tay. Because Tay is her own person. And Tay makes her own decisions. And Tay has her own sense of self. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. But that's where your strong sense of self comes in. See, my thing is, I was just not getting into it, but I just had a discussion with someone earlier this morning, actually, because they don't understand that I live a very conventional, intuitive life. And I made it very clear to them, I don't need you to understand my decision. I'm not asking for your understanding. I'm telling you what is going to happen, and I'm telling you how I live my life. And to that person, they're so logical that they're not getting it, and they criticize it. And guess what? I allow them to, because they are not me, because I am not here to control them, because I don't need them to believe in me and what God has designed me for. The vision for me has always been very clear. And so because I have that direct connection to myself, that direct connection to spirit, I don't need it to make sense to anybody. It don't gotta make sense. I don't need anybody to validate it. Right? Because I know who I am. And that's what it means to have a strong sense of self. So you think I got upset when that person said, this is not making sense? Of course it don't make sense to you. It's not for you. It's for me. It's not going to make sense to you. It's not supposed to make sense to you. You're trying to get it to make sense to you. I know that it's not going to make sense to you. So I'm not going to even try to convince you or try to help you understand it because it's not for you. It's not for you.